Hi, this is Jim Bach. In 1970, I was the afternoon drive newsman for KOL 1300 AM in Seattle. My boss, the late Ken Matler, KOL news director, was on vacation for 2 weeks. It was in early November of 1970 when I sat in for Ken on his morning news slot from 6 a.m. to noon that contained the enormously popular Lan Roberts program. Now, it featured the co-host Jimmy Stalwart, played by my dear departed friend Terry McManus. Terry was legendary in the Seattle area as one of the best voices in town and did extensive voice work across the country. He shared the stage with Phil Dirt, a character Lan apparently based on virtually every hapless dumbball you've ever known.
This is Phil Dirt, and I'm gonna get you.
And the Hollywood Reporter, a character based on Lan's interpretation of Luella Parsons, a 1950s Hollywood busybody, similar to Hedda Hopper.
Hello from Hollywood, friends. This is your Hollywood Reporter on the Lan Roberts program.
This, of course, was well before YouTube, Entertainment Tonight, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter, aka X, became the norms. The morning of this recording, I was listening to the show as I was arranging my news stories, and suddenly in the next studio appeared the wildly popular David Frye, whose impersonations were legendary, especially those of President Nixon, who was running amok at the time and needed some roasting. But David's flamethrowing wasn't limited just to Nixon. Everyone in politics was fair game for Frye, including Lyndon Johnson, Hubert Humphrey, even Ronald Reagan when he was the governor of California. Frye's astounding impersonations were not limited just to political figures. Hollywood stars were also fair game as well, with legendary spoofs of Henry Fonda, James Cagney, and other Hollywood biggies. Lan and Terry blessed the Seattle market with their talents every morning in the late 60s and early 70s, and their program was neck and neck in popularity with just about any radio show in Seattle. Here now is that collaboration among the masters of the expressive spoken word. One thing's plain, everybody had a good time, including the listeners.
Serving the Northwest since 1922. This is KOL Seattle. Bring your friends on.
David, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for stopping by here while you're here in Seattle.
Well, it's nice to be here.
Could you tell me how this album was, how it was conceived? How did it come about?
We came up with an idea of, actually it was not my idea, but the writers on the record for Nixon to wake up one morning and have his own radio station. Actually, he dreams he has his own radio station. And we have Lyndon Johnson doing a farm report on the station, Truman Capote a weather report, and Al Camp reading the funnies. It's kind of a wild, interesting concept. It's different. And as you play that recording, we have Nixon singing on the record. It's a lot of ideas, and he probably does have that idea once a month to have his own station, so it's not too unreal.
When do you find time, like yourself, to do any writing at all? You're so busy right now. Do you say, well, I'm going to set aside maybe an hour or 2 hours this particular day in the week and do some writing, or what?
No, I'm sure the same thing that you do. You write along, or you just start to think about an idea, and then you start putting it together, and it comes, freaky times. You never know when you're going to come up with an idea. It's very difficult, as you know, to sit down and say, well, I'm going to write, this bit. When you come up with an idea that was my idea about Nixon singing, I did it my way. And I can't remember how I thought of it or what, but probably I was listening to Mr. Sinatra sing the lyrics, and I said, oh, there's someone else that would fit. And the lyrics do fit Mr. Nixon.
I'd like to ask you a very, very personal question now. Do you get to where you get into the character so heavy how heavy do you get to identifying with the character when you're?
It depends on how well on different ones. I watched Howard K. Smith interview President Nixon the other night, and I said, gee, I'm starting to look like him, or he's starting to look like me. And it was a little frightening, but the more, I guess, the more years you put into mimicry, the more you start to feel the characters. Instead of just, at the beginning, you just go for the voice, you know. But as years go on, you get the dimensions and you start to feel it more and more. I remember when I first started doing impressions, I was really bad. And it took years just to be able to sound like the people. And so it takes a lot of hard work, standing in front of the mirrors and working on the faces. And
tell me this: do you get the voice down before you do the faces, or the faces before the voice?
It depends. Sometimes, like with Robert Mitchum, at first it was the face. With another guy, it might be with a Rod Steiger. It would be the voice first. It depends on which comes more easily.
Yeah! Oh, yeah!
Someone has mentioned the fact that Frank Gorshin had said, who does a lot of imitations and all, has a problem playing the part of himself on television plays. Do you think that there is an identity crisis in this area?
Well,
I'm not saying that you have an identity.
No, I don't
crisis.
even try to play myself, so it's all right. Frank is a very good actor, and he wants to be an actor. And it is difficult because he came to national attention doing Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster and a host of other people. But it is difficult to just put those people aside and be yourself, because they're always lingering in the background. Maybe it becomes, after a while, in a sense, as you say, part of your personality.
I'd like to play a selection from David's new album here. We're going to have the news after this, and then David will be back, and we'll be playing Stump the Stars next hour with Hubert Humphrey, and we're going to change the name of it to Stump the Hump.
Seattle's KOL.
Hi, good morning. This is KOL in Seattle. This is the Lan Roberts program. Our guest this morning is David Frye. Very happy to have him here. We're going to be playing, looking at the political side of Stump the Stars here in a few moments that I'm sure maybe you will all be waiting for. David, where will you be going when you leave Seattle?
We're going back to New York. Matter of fact, we're on the Sullivan Show. The Ed Sullivan Show Sunday. It's pre-taped. We did that back in December, believe it or not. They're first putting it on now. It's kind of weird.
Seems like all the reruns of the television series are getting younger into spring every year. I don't know if that's happening or not, but it sure seems like that.
I think you're right. Beginning in January, no, we're doing the Sullivan Show Sunday, and it's kind of a mock press conference where I do Nixon. We have people like Kirk Douglas, Jack Palance, Georgie Scott Humphrey, and Billy Graham asking Nixon questions. So it's on. I think it's one of the better Sullivan shows that I do. Usually that show, it's not because of anything about the show, but it's a tense show. It's live, you're kind of frightened, and rarely do you feel good when you finish doing that show. This was one of the few shows that I came off well on, one of the few Ed Sullivan shows that I felt when I left I did well. So it'll be, and then I'll be on the Dick Cavett show, I think Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
Wonderful KOL.
Hello from Hollywood, friends. This is your Hollywood reporter on the Lan Roberts program, and it's time to play Stump the Stars.
Hello, this is Jimmy Stalwart. The Hollywood reporter and I will be taking phone calls at 421-8900. Ask us a question about the movies. If we can't answer it, you win.
We don't know what you'll win,
But we're sure it'll be a wonderful surprise.
movies from recent issues of TV Guide are not accepted. Thank you.
We have a cast of political figures here this morning that will be, of course, answering questions, and we would like to get those questions related to political Hollywood movies. I think that would probably fit, don't you think so, Star?
That's right, Lan. I think any a question about a movie having to do with such as Mr.
Of course, you want Mr. Smith goes there. You've been.
Well, if somebody wanted to ask me a question
about.
about that would be fine. Anything to do with politics.
All right, and our friend David Frye is here right now, and we'll be taking phone calls at this number, 421-8900.
This is Phil Dirt, and I'm going to get you. Friends of Carter Bargains is celebrating a 4-day hats off to Phil Dirt sale. It's about time, with tremendous savings on all furniture. 4-piece Spanish suite. Buenos dias, ¿cómo está usted esta mañana? Rich pecan finish plus bronze hardware. Triple dresser, vertical frame mirror, chest full-size bed for only $148. 7-piece dinette with Nevermore tabletop. You sit and breaks right down there. Was $99. Phil Dirt special, $68. Corner Bargains has liberal trades for young married students and the militia. Just mention Phil Dirt's name and receive a free gift or a funny look. Corner Bargains, First and Lander, across from Sears, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 9, Saturday 9 to 6, and Sunday 12 to 5. Like this beautiful table lamp I have right here is one of the nicest things. What do you mean break it and it's mine? I'm the announcer here. Now wait a minute here. This is Phil Dirt.
Seattle's KOL.
Yes, it's time to play Stump the Stars. And let's see, who is this on the telephone, please?
Ben Davis.
Okay, what's the question? And if you could make the question politically oriented, it would fit.
Well, it's not about politics, but who starred in Blood Alley?
Who starred in Blood Alley?
Blood Alley? Well, of course, it isn't really a political question, although Duke, John Wayne, who was in the film, has done, a lot of work for the president, and he himself is getting into politics like so many other actors, Lan. Now, myself, I haven't, but Duke has, and maybe Mr. President would like to make a comment on what he feels. I would like to know, sir, how you feel about actors getting into politics. I mean, do you feel unfair competition, or exactly how do you feel, sir?
I don't feel too good, is actually how I feel. Let me say this regarding actors into politics. First of all, I am not an actor. It's very real, what I do. It may not appear real all the time, but when I wake up in the morning, I know that I am not pretending. It's real, it's happened. I am the president, make no mistake about that.
Stump the Stars.
Yes, make no mistake about this. I'd like to know who played the second role in Somebody Up There Likes Me with Paul Newman. Paul Newman's buddy.
I didn't hear your question. If you could repeat it again. They played the what role?
Who was Paul Newman's buddy in...
Paul Newman's buddy.
Yeah, and somebody up there likes me, Lan. It was a story of Rocky Graziano.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and it was played, his friend, you see, it was a boxing movie, and his friend was played by Tony Franciosa, I believe. That was an exciting movie, about, was that right?
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
Anyhow.
Well, he was on the set, I know, when they were filming, because,
Mr. Humphrey, what political aspects or what particular political thoughts do you have I didn't ask you this a while ago regarding people who are getting into politics that are, say, in the limelight, such as people who are in Hollywood?
Well, of course, let me say this, and of course I'll say it. I love to talk. I love to be on the public scene. And I think that Ronald Reagan is still a marvelous, marvelous actor. And I think that he is doing the actor studio thing. And I wish he'd stop scratching himself, because I don't think the pollution is really that bad.
Seattle's KOL 1300.
Okay, it's 15 minutes past 8 o'clock from KOL. This is the Lan Roberts program. Our guest this morning, of course, is David Frye. We have a phone call from, who is this, please?
This is Mr. Jim Bickle.
Hi, Jim Bickle. How are you this morning?
Pretty good, thank you very much.
Yes. You wanted to ask Mr. Fonda what question?
Yes, I'd like to ask Mr. Fonda what he feels about his daughter's recent political activities.
Very good question. Mr. Fonda, did you hear that question?
Yes, I certainly did. I just try not to think about it, frankly. She does her thing. Peter does his thing, I do my thing, and gee, they're having more fun than I am.
Yeah, everybody is trying to get into the acts.
Why in the whole world is calling up this morning? Did you notice when people...
David's going to be on the Dick Cavett show. Now, when is this going to be, David?
This will be Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday. What? Hi there. This is, who's this, please?
This is Mr. Kravitz.
Did you have a question you'd like to...
Question for the president. I understand he's there this morning, is that right?
I am always there.
Are you trying to make a fool out of me on the SST issue?
I would never make a fool out of anyone. That's not my game. Regarding SST, that means stop Spiro's tongue. That's all that means, nothing else. And let me make that perfectly clear.
But I'm very hurt at some of the some of the things that have come from the White House. And I've also heard a rumor that you are backing Johnny Carson in a presidential bid for him.
No, that is in the vice presidential bid. And I'm terribly sorry that you're hurt. Though I noticed that you were hurt the minute you got on the air. But let me make that perfectly clear.
Thank you for calling there, Dick.
I think you're welcome. I'm not sure.
Hi. Who is this, please?
Yeah, I'd like to know what Henry has to say about his Mr. Smith family show.
What is that?
Well, Lan, I'd like to ask Hank, too. Hank and I have worked, in innumerable films such as Cheyenne Social Club. And now this season, Hank, you're doing the Smith family television series. Now, next fall, I'm going to be doing one myself. And I would like to know, now that we've signed, is it harder, is it more difficult to do TV than it is to movies? I mean, do you feel rushed, or how do you feel?
No, actually, it's a pleasure to do a television series. As a matter of fact, it's the same money that you do for doing the movies. And it's just a gas. And well, let me just say this. I don't do those commercials for money. When I walk across a floor, I do that for the beauty of walking across a clean floor, not for the money. The same reason Danny Thomas drinks coffee. It's to swallow a good cup of coffee, that's all.
Seattle's KOL 1300.
And, we were just, Mr. the President and I were just talking about this. The difficulty, Lan, the difficulty, you see, of bringing up a child in the White House. Because, number one, you want, the president wants to be a good family man, I'm sure, but you have all the pressure of all those people always hanging around your house, And I'd like to know, sir, how it is possible to lead a normal family life when you're surrounded by all these people and all these things going. Isn't it hard on the kids and Pat?
Actually, I never see the family. I, of course, spend most of my day in a room alone, sulking. Occasionally, I go out of the room, look around, go right back in the room. Same place, sit there. Pat serves lunch, of course. Regarding my daughter's marriage, I, of course, have not been invited to the wedding. Why? I don't know. But that's the way it is.
You've had several problems. It's been reported that the press has tried to ask you this question. You keep avoiding it about some embarrassing things that happen with the dog. Now, having a dog in the White House does have problems, especially with the guests coming in every day like they do.
There is no problem. Spiro cleans up after. And let me say this. This man does a job. He moves with the cloth all over the place, in and out, under chairs, never misses. And this, I think, most Americans don't know this about the Vice President, the kind of job he's doing there. And I'm proud, very proud. We're all proud of him. And he, of course, will be doing that at the wedding.
15 minutes before 9 o'clock from KOL in Seattle. And what now?
And this is your Hollywood reporter about Parsons, and now here's my first exclusive. My good friend David Frye, Jimmy Stalwart, Richard Nixon, and the whole gang will be testing out a magnificent, large, king-size, exclusive waterbed right here on the floor in just a moment.
At Waterbed Shed, it's the second week of the grand opening sale. Prices you can't afford to miss. And if you ever thought of buying a waterbed, now's the time. A lot of you probably had the idea, I'm going to get there and it's going to spring a leak, right? We don't like to talk about that. As a grand opening special, Waterbed Shed is offering KOL listeners a king-size mattress with liner and heater, regular $97 for only $65. Now, this is a fine quality waterbed that you can buy with a 5-year written guarantee. Waterbed Shed is located at 317 2nd Avenue South, 2 blocks west of the King Street Station. Now, we're going to show you this morning about the not only versatility, but the endurance ability.
Is everybody ready? All right, well, I think everybody's ready.
Hop right on this king-size job here.
Mr. President, you first. You climb right on the bed. How does it feel?
I haven't felt this good in years. It's a comfortable feeling. I'm moving a little bit, though. But then I always move to the left and then back to the right if you know my past history, so I feel perfectly comfortable.
Oh, look who's over on the far corner of the bed. It's my good friend, Mr. Henry Frye. Oh, Henry, it's so wonderful to have you here in the waterbed.
See, it's wonderful to be here. I just wish that Jane and Peter could be here. I feel so lonely in this side of the bed, but it is comfortable, I must say that.
Lan, there's a... Oh! Hello, Mr. Johnson, Lan. He's got his beagle dogs, and he's holding them up by the ears over here. Mr. Johnson, how do you like the bed?
It's wonderful to be on the bed. I've never felt this comfortable in a long time. Usually I'm lying on the ground at the farm with the hogs and the pigs. So the dogs are all right. Get off me, dog. Oh, my God, these dogs are dead. Ever since I picked those dogs up by the ears, they're trying to get me in the butt. That's all right. I've gotten out of tight spots before.
Oh, this is just wonderful having all these folks here. Who's that over there? It looks like my good friend, Mr. Hump. Hello, Hubert.
Well, it's wonderful to be on this bed. And let me say, I love beds. At the same time, I love floors. I love anything. Let me make it perfectly clear. Oh, that's not my line. But let me say this. It's wonderful to be on a soft mattress and have a soft job. And I want to say I'm proud as punch. Don't punch me like that. Let me alone. Everybody's picking on me all the time.
Oh, it's just, I wish all you folks out there in Radio Land could be here in the bed with us.
Wonderful KOL. Well, he's going to come in. He wants to come in, but we're going to have to do something first. Mr. Reagan's out in the hall, but he would like a little bit of a fanfare or something to introduce him, you know.
Well, I guess that's my job. Hello from Hollywood, friends. This is your Hollywood reporter with my first exclusive hot flash. And now, we'd like to introduce on radio here at KOL in Seattle, my good personal dear friend, Mr. Ronald Reagan. Oh, it's so wonderful to have you here, Ronald, and you're just looking good all over.
I don't think that's appropriate, that kind of an introduction for a man of my stature. I'm the governor of California. I understand California. As a matter of fact, I'm an orange. But it is wonderful to be here in these studios. I'm very upset about a number of things. The youth of the country are bugging me. My own daughter, Maureen, is bugging me. Matter of fact, I'm in a bugger. But it's nice to be here. It's nice to be in Seattle. And of course, I'm happy to be anywhere. And I was, of course, during the earthquake, I woke up at 4 a.m. and flew out, as you know. I escaped the whole thing, but I came back. I always come back. And I'll be in the race for the presidency in 72, and I'm going to win. I'm going to be the president. I'm going to be an acting president.
Do you have any ideas?
I have no ideas.
But do you have any for Berkeley? You must have a few that you haven't sprung on.
Berkeley was a great friend of mine and a very dear man, and showed me some great female legs. In those movies, it was just wonderful. But I have no ideas for Bushby. Bush. We called him Bush in those days. He was a marvelous gentleman.
Do you plan on maybe going back into the movies or just staying politically oriented like you?
I've always wanted to be. Matter of fact, we make movies at the governor's mansion. My wife and myself are making a lot of movies. People don't know about these movies, of course, but you'll be getting them in the mails. I say early 72.
Our special guest this morning has been David Frye. David, thank you very much for dropping by.
Thank you. This has really been a guest. Luella, Jimmy Stewart, whoever I'm talking to, but thank you. I appreciate it.
And we'll try to get our identity crises back in order. You'll be going now to New York now.
Back to New York, right, and I'll be on the Sullivan Show on Sunday. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, David Frye, our guest this morning.
Dave, I have an impression here I'd like to do for out in the hall, if you got a second. Gregory Peck, I do really fine, you know.
Please, no.
Serving the Northwest since 1922. This is KOL Seattle.
Bring your friends on.